boys and girls, we are going to start a new science unit this week on mixtures and solutions, so some chemistry. It's kind of my favorite unit, and I wish we were here at school to be able to mix all of our chemicals and potions, and so we'll try our best to do it at home and at school. So you need your science journal. Let's go ahead and make a new title page for our next unit. So I'm going to flip through. Remember, we made one for living systems. I'm going to flip through all the great living systems notes about my seeds and straws and my photosynthesis, my decomposers, to my next blank page. And this one I'm going to call mixtures and solutions. And if you like to decorate up your journal and make it all fancy, you could put some things in there if you want. But now we have a title page for mixtures and solutions. Okay, so on the next page, I want us to add a little chart in here. And I'm actually going to turn my journal sideways like this. And I want 3 categories. So I'm just going to take a little estimate that looks like it's in thirds right there. Don't tell Miss Holscher it's not very even mathematically. She probably would say, get your ruler and measure, but it's okay. We're in science. And I'm going to put the first one as C. I'm going to put some little eyeballs here. What do I see? The second box, I'm going to put think. And I'm going to put a little head in like a thought bubble. Oh, that's not a good looking thought bubble. I might have to have Miss King come help me with my art. Miss Holscher needs to help me with measurement, and Miss King needs to come help me with my art. It's a good thing I do the science, right? You can make lots of mistakes in science. Okay. And the last category is going to be wonder. I like to put little question marks. Wonder. So see, think, and wonder. So actually our lesson today is going to be about gargoyles. You're like, what does that have to do? And we're going to be talking about these gargoyles as we go throughout our unit and see if we can make connections back to this first lesson. So it's kind of important that you are watching this today. And so if your friends aren't, give them a little positive peer pressure and tell them they really need to watch science today. Okay, let's look at what we've got with gargoyles. Here we go with disappearing gargoyles. You've heard stories of castles, knights riding horseback, magic kings and queens. It seems like a made-up world. But hundreds of years ago in medieval times or Middle Ages, these things really existed. In the Middle Ages, people built beautiful, intricate buildings made of stone. If you visit places in Europe, you can still see some of these buildings today. One of the most detailed ones is a church in Paris, France, called the Notre Dame Cathedral. Let's keep going so we can check it out. So here is what the cathedral looked like. And in fact, I think 2 years ago, one of the spires caught on fire. And so they've been rebuilding it. But it's a very old church. Look at all the detail on this church that they built in the 1800s. What did they say? Oh, they didn't give us a date. Built so long ago. They don't have modern technology like what we have today. So this was a pretty difficult, building to make. Check out the view from the top of this. Look at how you can see Paris up here. Do you know what these little structures are right here? This guy and this bird? What are these statues? Does anyone know what these statues are? Kind of creepy looking. They're called gargoyles. Yeah, they were carved from stone in the Middle Ages when people believed in magic. Many people believe that they were added to buildings to scare away evil spirits. But they also served a much more practical purpose. They helped the water run off the roof, similar to gutters that are on buildings today. So I'm going to go back and look. So they were actually made to help with the water. So as it rained, the water would kind of go like off the little creature and maybe like run down the side and off its feet kind of here. See on this arm how it kind of branches out? That's kind of cool. Sometimes gargoyles are still used today for decorations. Take a look at a new gargoyle. So the one on the left is brand new. Do you notice any difference between the modern gargoyle and the one created over 700 years ago? Look at the difference between the modern and the old one. Okay, so this is where we are going to put some things into our see, think, and wonder chart. So remember, we just added this chart to our journal right here, see, think, and wonder. Okay, so here's what we're going to look at in our chart. What did you observe, and here's the picture below, about the old gargoyle? How are the old and the new different? So in the C section of your journal, I want you to record your answers. You can talk to someone. You don't really have a think, pair, share, but you could talk to your friends if you get a chance to, maybe in morning meeting, about what do you see, okay? And then, so I would like you to write it in your chart. And then at the end of the lesson today, I'm going to ask you to submit on a digital kind of sticker board some of the things you observed. And then I'm going to add it up to our chart here in the classroom and see all the great things that all the fifth graders have to say about between the new and old gargoyle. So what you're working on right now, and I want you to push pause, is you're going to record in the C section of your chart, what are some observations you make about the new gargoyle and the old gargoyle on these two pictures? And then when you're done, you can click play again. Okay, so now that you've recorded what you saw, can we kind of think about or explain? Can you explain what happened to the old gargoyles? What made them change? Where did the stone go? So I'm noticing this one looks pretty weathered down and smooth, right? And this one looks fresh and crisp. So record your answers in the think column of the chart. Talk to your partner. So this is your, what do you think happened? Why do you think the old gargoyle looks like this and the new one looks so different? What do you think? So that goes in the second column of your think chart. So go ahead and put down your thinking. What do you think? You don't have to be right. We're just learning new things. So go ahead and write that in your chart and then push play to continue. Now, the very last chart is, what do you wonder about? So what is it that you're curious about? What questions do you have about these gargoyles that I can try to answer throughout our unit? What do you wonder about how they have changed over time? So again, in your wonder column, you're going to record at least one or two questions you have about these gargoyles. And I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. All right, so in the Middle Ages, there was a group of people called alchemists who are fascinated by materials and what things are made of. You'll learn more about them in the first mystery of this unit. So you can see they've got like potions and they're making medicines and things. They're fascinated by what are things made out of. One day, 4 alchemists went into town. They noticed something unusual about the gargoyles on top of the church. It seemed that slowly over time, parts of the gargoyles were disappearing. Oh, interesting. The alchemists had different ideas about what caused the gargoyles to change over time. They, of course, disagreed. Here are their claims. So we are going to kind of refer back to these 4 alchemists, and you're going to get a little printout to put in your journal as well later this week when you get your folder pickup. And each time we go through a mystery or a lesson, we'll kind of refer back to what they think. So Hermes, I think the stone gets really old, decays, and falls apart. Robert, I think that a substance reacts with the stone and turns it into a different materials. Mary, I think the stone reacts with water and air, which creates rust on top of the stone. Zosimos, I think that water washes over the stone, making it disappear. It doesn't exist anymore. So those are their 4 thoughts. So today, for your assignment, I want you to decide which person right now you agree with the most. We'll get a chance to talk about it later, but I want you to think, who do you agree with the most? So if you need to go back and look, you can rewind and look. And so you'll have this worksheet that you're going to fill out online, and you're going to say, my claim. I agree with, and you'll put their name. I think that. So what is it that you think? And then I think this because. So here's where you're going to start thinking, well, why did you choose that? There's really no right or wrong answer. Why did you choose? Maybe you like that Mary said rust, and you know that things get rust over time. Okay, so you have a reason for choosing one. I want to know what your reason is, whether it's right or wrong. All right, your task for today is to go back into Google Classroom where you saw this video, and there is the Alchemist agreement sheet. So again, who do you agree with? Why do you agree with them? And what's kind of some evidence that just has your thinking around? Okay, I'm not expecting you to get it right, but I want to see your thinking. That's the most important thing in science, is can you think and share your thinking? All right, I can't wait to see what you guys come up with.